Hi, good morning. I'm Edward Yu. Today, we are going to discuss a critical issue in the construction industry, the grave consequences of unethical practices. Our focus today will be on the two catastrophic events, the Lacrosse Tower fire in 2014 and the Grenfell Tower fire in 2017. These tragedies underscore how unethical behavior in construction can lead to devastating loss of life and property. First, let us examine a common factor in both disasters, the use of ACP, that is, aluminium composite panels. These cladding materials have been implicated in the rapid spread of fire in high-rise buildings, raising serious questions about fire safety standards and the ethical obligations of industry practitioners. In fact, there have been numerous building fires related to ACPs, including the Lacrosse Tower fire in 2014 and the Grenfell Tower fire in 2017, as shown in the table. The most recent one, the Valencia residential complex in Spain in 2024, it reflects that the fire risk of ACP still exists even after so many disastrous fires. The Lacrosse Tower fire in Melbourne, Australia in 2014 was an alarming wake-up call. The fire rapidly engulfed the building due to the combustible nature of ACP with polyethylene cores. Thankfully, no lives were lost, but it highlighted significant lapses in fire safety regulations and accountability. In the Lacrosse court case 2019, the judge held that the professionals, including the architects, the building surveyor, and the fire engineer, are responsible for the 5.7 million Australian dollars damages. Why the professionals were held responsible for the fire? As the Lacrosse Tower was built in 2012, at the time, professionals might not have the knowledge that ACPs were combustible. Would they be ignorant rather than negligent? Well, referring to the court report, it elaborated on this issue by referring to Section 59, subsection 1 of the Wrongs Act 1958, which is an amendment of the Bolam test and the Bolivo test. It says a professional is not negligent if they act in a manner that at the time the service was provided was widely accepted in Australia by a significant number of respected practitioners in the field, that is, peer professional opinion, as competent professional practices in the circumstances. However, evidence suggests that manufacturers, contractors, architects, building surveyors, professionals, fire engineers knowingly used substandard materials, raising questions about their professional ethics and accountability. It's important to note that by the year 2000, the fire risk associated with ACP were well documented. Despite this knowledge, these materials continued to be used, often with misleading claims about their safety, as seen in both the Lacrosse and Grenfell cases. There were information from the manufacturer in 2000, an article and a research report on the fire hazards of ACPs. The court held that even a casual inquiry of fire engineers at around this time is likely to have revealed these concerns. Now, let's dive deeper into the Grenfell Tower fire. The Grenfell Tower fire in London in 2017 was far more devastating. 72 lives were lost in this tragic incident. The building's refurbishment include flammable cladding and insulation materials that failed to meet fire safety standards. Evidence from reports and investigations paint a picture of systematic unethical practices that prioritized profit over safety. The findings have far-reaching implications for the construction industry worldwide. The 2024 Grenfell report reviewed shocking unethical practices. Companies involved in the cladding and insulation for Grenfell manipulate testing, misrepresent data, and misled the market. The report named several companies as culprits, and all of them engage in dishonest activities that put lives at risk. According to the Nick and Wright report, ACP panels with polyethylene cores failed external fire spread test. There were reasonable grounds to believe these panels did not meet safety standards. Yet these panels remain widely used in the world, posing ongoing risk. You might wonder why the ACPs are not universally banned. First, some countries did ban ACP, but you can only ban new developments. For example, ACPs have been banned for new buildings in the UAE, yet there are around 500 of the existing high-rise buildings are cleared with ACPs. Second, since not all ACP are combustible, the fire risk depends on the core materials. Panels with polyethylene or other combustible cores are particularly hazardous. Proper testing is essential to distinguish between safe and unsafe products. Thus, full-scale fire tests are now required for new buildings cleared with ACPs in some countries, such as New Zealand, after the Grenfell fire. To conclude, three key lessons emerge. First, professionalism is paramount. As Lane emphasized in 2024, we need stricter standards and accountability in fire safety practices. Second, regulatory bodies must uphold reliable standards, as Wallace and others pointed out. Finally, we need a cultural shift towards higher integrity and transparency in construction. Cutting corners and compromising standards can cost lives, as Grenfell tragically demonstrates. Thank you.